Hey everybody, this is Daniel at Guideline Geo. I'm going to demo the Easy Locator Core to you today. This is a completely wireless system. It is IP65 rated. It uses a new style of batteries than what we have traditionally have. They go into the back of the antenna here. They also have a voltage reading on the batteries. The wheels are easily come off with the push of a button here, and the handle comes off very easily with these screws here that just come out and then pop back in. The handle collapses down onto itself and locks into place on top of the antenna. This is a very lightweight GPR. We're also using a Samsung Galaxy Tab Active Pro. It is a completely rugged tablet. It is IP68 rated, meaning this whole system is then waterproof, dustproof, and shockproof. I'm going to collect some data. I'm actually at my house, so I'm going to collect some data in front of my house today, and we will switch to the tablet screen after this video. We're now looking at the tablet screen. I'm recording the tablet screen as we collect data. I'm going to show you how to connect to the antenna. I push the power button on the antenna, and the way the tablet connects to the antenna is through a hotspot. So I'll go into my settings, go to connections, my mobile hotspot, turn my mobile hotspot on. Now I can also do this with a quick drop down menu, and I can click that second blue button there, and that's my mobile hotspot. Now I can open the Mala controller app. There's the splash screen, and then if we look at the bottom left, we'll see the antenna connect where there's a red circle with a line through it right now. We'll wait for the antenna to connect, and then we can move further. Okay, there we see the EO core pops up and connects to the tablet. Once we are connected, it shows us our battery strength beside it. So we have two batteries, they're fully charged, and we're using the onboard GPS. This GPS is DGNSS. So you can get as good as 1 meter accurate with this GPS. And I'll say that the onboard GPS works very, very well, and we'll see that later on in the video. Now I want to go to the top left hamburger menu. I'll go to my settings, and here I can set the depth I want to see when I'm collecting data. So for here, I'm going to come down a bit. I'm going to come to about 13 feet. Our acquisition mode is distance. Our encoder type is the core. Our trace interval or point interval is at 1 inch. We're automatically setting the zero level within the software. Positioning, we're using internal GPS, but we can also use the external GPS, meaning you can use an RTK GPS to Bluetooth connect to the tablet. Our display, we want to show in depth, or we can look at time, but we're going to use depth. Our units are imperial or metric, we're imperial. And our velocity is set at 288. And actually I want to bring this down because I know the velocity is a little bit lower here around my house. Okay, so now we can go back to the start screen. And within the start screen, we have a 2D, 3D project, project manager, and Mala Vision. So the most important part here is the 2D project. If I click on this, I'm able to name it. And I'm going to name it DL, my abbreviation, House Demo. Click OK. And we can see our vertical and horizontal bars. Our vertical bar right now is in nanoseconds and our horizontal is in seconds. That's because we haven't pushed the record button yet to change those. So before we do that, if we look to the right, there is a transparent half circle gray arrow there. If I click on it, this is where we have some options during the collection that we can use. Hyperbola fitting, which helps you determine the velocity of the site you're at. A filter menu, which gives us gain, contrast, background removal, and auto gain. We have a marker type, which gives us different sizes of markers. And then we have marker colors. And these colors correspond to the marker you've chosen before. And there's lots of colors to choose here. These menus are movable. So you see I'm moving it around now. You can also X them out. And you can move this out of the way to have a full screen of data. Right now I want to keep the filter menu in here. Another thing to note, at the bottom right is there's a triangle. That is a surface marker. Just for a fast, quick marker, you can hit surface marker. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the record button. And you see our horizontal and vertical axes change now. We're at about 10.5 feet or 11 feet on the vertical, and we're showing 75 feet up top. So I'm going to go ahead and start pushing the GPR here. So I know I have some a lot of utilities running through my grass here, and I do believe we have a water line there. So I'm going to go ahead and get these ready. I'm going to choose that guy. I'm going to choose blue, mark here. Now I do believe this other line is at the left of that marker I just placed is electrical, so I'm going to choose red. Okay. Now I'm going to turn around and walk down my grass a little bit and come up in another area. I do believe that is that water line again. Choose my blue. Yeah, I can see a faint trace. Let's keep going here. Okay, there's that electrical one. I believe there's actually 3 there, but I'm going to mark that one. So I've gotten that data. I want to stop that. We're still in, if you look at the bottom right, we're still in DL House Demo. So I've collected that data. And now I want to walk down the road a bit and collect some data walking down the road. And we'll see all this in post-processing in Model Vision of exactly where I've been. So if I click record again, it's going to be in the same project file of DL House Demo. It's just going to be our second swath of lines. Go ahead and start collecting data again. Now I can see that I'm walking towards a storm drain culvert that runs underneath the road. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can see that. Stop a second, move this menu. Okay. There's that culvert there. I believe that's comms, gas, unknown, void, sewer, reclaimed water. So I'm going to just mark this as sewer for now. And I'm going to turn around and snake over this pipe. So I'm going to run an S pattern over this pipe. There it is again. Mark that guy. I'll come here again. Mark it again. Now I'm going to click stop. Okay, now I think that we can pull this into Model Vision, and I'll show you guys how to do that here with the next video. Okay, now we are inside and it's a little bit cooler here. You can do this out in the field as well. What we're going to do is take this data and process it in MalaVision. And the way to do that is you have to have an internet connection. So you can do that in the field by connecting to the hotspot on your phone that your phone can create, or you can wait till you get back to the office or somewhere with a strong Wi-Fi connection. So here's my data. So now I'm going to make sure that I'm connected to a Wi-Fi network. So I should be able to connect to my home Wi-Fi here. So we're going to wait and see if that connects. Yep, there it is. Okay. So now I'll go back into the Mala controller app. I'm going to go back to the main menu. And I'm also using the stylus pen here to navigate through the tablet as well. And I don't know if you can see, I'm hovering right over MalaVision. I don't know if that translates to this video or not. But I'm going to click MalaVision, and I want to export the project I just collected to MalaVision. So that's DL House Demo. Now what it's going to do is try to open MalaVision, and if I'm already logged in, it's going to go ahead and upload the data. If you weren't logged in, it would ask you to log in, and then it will start uploading the data. As you can see, it's uploading the files now to my MalaVision account. When the upload is successful, it takes you right into MalaVision. Now I can go into Open Projects. I'll go into the bottom right, it's DL House Demo. So I'll click that. And it's going to open up the data I just collected. So here is my front yard, and then here is the secondary data that I collected here. And we're given filters and display effects to play with as well in MalaVision. I won't go too deep into that, but just know that you're given a lot of tools here to work with this data. And that could be done in a separate video. So I'm going to go back to my first data set, and we marked those already, and I can see the marks there, but I'm going to do it again in this MalaVision here just to show you. So I'm going to choose blue. My marker's already set, and I'm going to mark that guy there and there. And what that translates to, and I think we have our electric here and here, and we'll see what this looks like in the 3D view. So if I zoom out some, I see 2 polylines have been created with the data. And if I go into the sitemap view, and you're given 2 different map options here. OpenLayers works all across the world, where Google Maps only works in some parts of the world. We like Google Maps, so we're going to choose that. And I'm going to zoom in. Oop, a little far there. This is a typical Google map. So now I'm going to go into satellite view, and you can see this is almost spot on just with the onboard GPS. It's pretty good to give a representation of where you were and where that line is. Now if you're doing survey grade, or if you want survey grade, then I would suggest getting an RTK GPS and using that, and then you would know these polylines and markers are then centimeter accurate. Right now they're about 1 meter to 2 meter accurate, but pretty good for me to show people where I've been at and where this line most likely is. Now that is the first, where the red and blue lines are, that is the first swath of data I collected, and it is pretty spot on to where I actually walked in my front yard. And if we look over to the left here, you can see where I started to snake over this drain, this water drain here, and you can kind of see that drain there on both sides of the road, and our markers are trying to line up with that here. So what I can do from this point, I can take screenshots of this data. I can mark it up in any way that I want to look at it. I can look at the trace view of this, and I can also export this data. I can create a report, and I can export the markers and the lines, the polylines, as well. Let's go look. So we can export our interpretation. There's our markers. We can export those markers as a text, a CSV, a KMZ, or a DXF. And if we look at the polylines, we can do a DXF export of those. And if we look at both markers and polylines, again, we can do a DXF that would go into your AutoCAD type softwares. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you.